everyone, I'm Neal Katyal, and this is The New Normal, a digital salon where we talk about life in the age of COVID-19. And today we're talking about creativity during quarantine and what all of us can do, not only to be more creative, but frankly, how to find outlets to help us from going insane. And I got two of my dear friends here and two of the most creative and non-insane people I know. We have first Samin Nosrat, who's, in my book, America's top chef and teacher. She wrote the best-selling book, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, which James Beard named its cookbook of the year. She has a Netflix series of the same name. And a lot of people find food intimidating, and Samin is the best introducer one could have to food. It is so good to see you, Samin.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. So fun to be here.
And we have Wendy MacNaughton, the brilliant illustrator. I think, Wendy, you're up to 11 books now, 3 New York Times bestsellers. And one of them happens to be a book that I just mentioned, Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, which is here. And you've got her beautiful illustration on the cover. And I'd always thought that great artists work in a particular milieu, like Rembrandt or Velasquez does paintings and Monet does landscapes and stuff like that. And Wendy, you've really shown me the diversity of a great artist. And I mean this very personally because, you called me, I guess, about a year ago and said, hey, I'm going to go down to Guantanamo and illustrate the military trials happening there. You went and did that, and the images from there are just about as moving and powerful as any I've ever seen. And so your ability to do, lettuce to Guantanamo trials is really unparalleled. And so it's really fabulous to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much, Neal. This is really a pleasure. Thanks.
First of all, it's been such a weird time for the country and for all of us. And I just want to know, how are both of you coping with it? I mean, how are you handling this whole COVID situation?
Oh, man. For the first few weeks, I was like, I've got this. I'm so good. I was like, I don't have children to take care of. I live in a beautiful home with a big garden. I have neighbors nearby. We live sort of in quarantine, so I'm not alone. And I was like, I don't know why everyone else is so stressed out. I'm fine. And then things quickly went south. And I've definitely been losing my mind. I like that you offered that we're not insane, but speaking for myself, I've definitely lost my marbles. But
fortunately, you had a lot of them to start with, so you can lose some.
Yeah, but I'm doing okay. I mean, I try to go outside every day. I've noticed on the days where I'm just working, and I don't go outside, it's really bad. So, yeah.
And Wendy?
Yeah, a similar experience. I think I came out of the gates raring to go. That's kind of my MO to a big shift in life, is to kind of jump in and say, okay, what's the best that we can make of this? And then I was going pretty top speed for a while, and then something happened. I think it just, the kind of isolation hit pretty hard. And since then, it's been this real day-to-day kind of thing. Some days are positive. Some days are dark, man. Some days are quiet. Some days are just exhausted. But yeah, same as Samin. I don't know quite how sane we were to start, but it's definitely, I mean, in our house, we're feeling it.
Both of you are doing this public outreach through, Samin, you've got this new podcast, which is just incredible. I listened to the first episode about beans, and your ability to do puns was unparalleled.
It's not me, that's Rishi.
What are you doing too?
Oh, I think it's you too, Samin. A little bit, yeah. Nice try.
You have these audiences from this, and they're asking you questions. I'm just curious, if you've gotten any surprising questions, Wendy, in your Instagram, and then Samin, from listeners or viewers.
So, but back, yes, and related to limitations, it was pointed out that somebody didn't have any colors early on. In fact, it was pointed out that some kids don't have art supplies early on. I think there's a lot of things that at the beginning, Caroline and I were taking for granted about what we expected people to have in their homes. First, we expected people to have Instagram. And then we realized they didn't. So we're like, oh, shoot, I guess we got to put it on YouTube also. Oh, wait a second. There's people who don't have internet. Oh, wait a second. You know, and on and on. Anyway, so we've tried to do our best to adjust to make it like as inclusive as possible. A challenge on this end has been like, I mean, I think the three of us now have some experience of trying to do full production with on our own with nothing, no experience, nobody. You guys, I'm making a cardboard yellow school bus. Like, I mean, this is, again, resourcefulness from like restrictions, but trying to learn and adapt and do all of this stuff. It's like to be simultaneously working alone, but also completely interconnected with other people and working in distance. It's like a totally new way of creating and interacting with people. And so this has been a learning curve.
We have had some questions from people who I'm actually really happier part of my audience, and I didn't always think were, but we've had some questions from people, you know, about their food stamps and SNAP, and people, there was one woman who called in who is on a budget of $4 a day for her food. So she asked us about how to feed herself and keep herself fed. And we've also gotten a lot of questions from people who are like first responders and medical providers and how to keep themselves fed in interesting and delicious ways. So again, that's just like more constraint, you know, and sort of forces me to think outside of my typical like beyond my typical resources where I'm used to thinking, or used to looking. So that's been sort of really important to sort of circle around beyond just the jokes of like, what do I do with all these chickpeas, you know, or whatever. And then, and then to respond to Wendy's thing, I mean, Wendy and I have been trying to check in about once a week. And it's so funny because like we're at once in this huge global thing that we're very aware of all the time, and also in our own very stressful bubbles about whatever thing that we're working on. And for the past month, I have been mired in lasagna. Like it just went live while we've been on the call, but I've been doing this project with the New York Times that's going to culminate in a national dinner party this Sunday where I'm encouraging everybody to make lasagna. So I had to make like YouTube videos and Instagram stuff and a print photo shoot and test the recipe and rewrite the recipe, which meant every single time I had to make a whole new lasagna, like all the pasta, all the sauces, build the whole thing. How do I make it vegan? How do I make it this? How do I, like, all the variations? So I've made like 40 lasagnas. And I've been videoing. And I've been like videotaping myself. And I just am like, I'm like filled with rage at lasagna at my phone. So like every week when Wendy and I talk, I'm like, I hate everything. I'm so mad about this lasagna.